Who knows? But we shall see, and I'll also give my prediction to what I think the score will be at the weekend. So, 11 for me.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're back again. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas or holiday. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. That's fair enough. But I hope you all enjoyed yesterday anyway. We are back again. And this time, today, we're going to do a little bit of a preview extra. I've got a special guest coming on. Love to hear from him every time that I speak to him. He's a very positive Arsenal fan. Even when it's hard to be positive about Arsenal, he always finds something, and he's just a joy to speak to. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel this year. We haven't been going long. I think I've mentioned this in the previous video that I did. We haven't been going long. We've hit 67 subscribers now. If you are watching and you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. One click is all it takes. That is it. And of course, smash them likes up as well. Smash them likes up. We're going to talk a little bit about Mikel Arteta's comments in a press conference. We are also going to touch on a story coming out today from David Ornstein about Balogun. And of course, we're going to talk the Arsenal-Chelsea game today. So, Mr. Positive, the man himself, Egal, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Everything's blessed. What about yourself?
Yes, man. Yeah. I mean, did you have a good day yesterday?
And for me, I don't celebrate Christmas, but what I do is I sit back and relax and watch the NBA games. If you don't know, there's like a whole slate of like 5 or 6 games every Christmas day, and that's what I do with my family. So that was good.
Good. No, I'm glad. You got to have time to chill, ain't you? You got to take your mind off Arsenal, especially when we are how we are at the moment. But we're going to get straight into it. We're going to get into, of course, the man himself. How can we not talk about him? He's a talking point every single week at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta did a press conference, and he sort of basically hinted towards the fact that the next 3 fixtures could define Arsenal's season. I mean, what did you make of them comments?
To me, let me turn that down. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Yes, mate.
To me, I feel like Arteta saying that he has to say something to try to make it seem like he's focused on what's going on. Because if he says, I take it one game at a time, there'll be something criticized about it. Anything he says, he's in a lose-lose situation. So he just needs to address the situation straight up and say, we are fighting and we're going to continue fighting. And if he says the next 3 games are the most crucial games, actions speak louder than words. I want to see it. As much as I back him, I back the club first. And at this point, I'm not Arteta out, but I can see a lot of the reasons why everyone is. And it's just tough to back him.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I also, them comments, I sort of took a different type of view from it. The next 3 fixtures are all within the space of, a short period of time. We got Chelsea today, obviously. We got Brighton a couple of days after that, and then we've also got West Brom. Could he be talking about himself? Like, could he be talking about the fact that if we don't get a suitable amount of points out of them games, he could be gone himself?
To me, I feel like the board have given him the assurances that they will give him at least until he brings in a January signing. Because don't you feel like they messed up not bringing an attacking midfielder in the January window, knowing that Ozil would not be featuring in the team? And Arteta does deserve some blame for not playing Emil Smith-Rowe. Maybe he should have some faith in the kids. But I don't think suddenly if we have faith in the kids and we sign a January window signing that we're going to get top 4. So to me, no matter what, the season has been a disappointment.
Of course. There's been many mistakes, too many to name, really. I mean, you know,
Let
some
me
of
flip
them.
it to you. The board. If you're playing in FIFA and the board see you in 15th for Arsenal, you're getting sacked.
Oh, of course.
So how is it that in a video game you're getting sacked when you're at 15th, but somehow Arteta is still not sacked? I'm not Arteta out, but if we're questioning Arteta, how are we not questioning the board and the ownership for allowing this to continue? Even though I am backing Arteta over the players, I can see that this is clearly underachieving.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. You know, there's been so many mistakes this season, like whether it be decisions on players who've been playing or players who've been left out of the squad or signings. And as much as Arteta does have to take a lot of flack for that, the board have got to come under pressure as well, because like you said, the fact that we didn't sign an attacking midfielder, knowing full well that Ozil was not going to be in the squad, it just makes no sense whatsoever. And you see the lack of depth as well. I was watching the Manchester United Leicester game before we came on, right? And you look at Manchester United's bench, and there's players, like I think they said it in commentary, there's a total of like 220 international caps on their bench from their players. You look at Arsenal's bench, it's a joke, you know. We're relying heavily on kids like Martinelli, who I personally, I don't know how you feel about it, but I personally think Martinelli's our best player.
Saka.
You think Saka?
Yeah, Saka, Gabriel have been our best players this season. If you're saying Martinelli's our best player, there's a shout for that, but he hasn't been our best player.
Okay. The reason why I say that is because you look at him the other night against Manchester City, he was probably about 70% fit. You know, he'd been out for a long time. We expected him to struggle a little bit with the pace of the game and that. But even though you could clearly see that he was tired, he was the only player in that squad pressing, trying to force Manchester City into mistakes. He's the only player who actually shows a little bit of heart. And it's not even so much about his talent, really, because obviously we know he's a talented kid, but it's more to do with the fact that he plays for the badge. He cares about the football club. And how many other players can you say that, you know, confidently with your chest with this Arsenal squad? It's just, you know, there's nobody there, really.
To back your point that you said earlier, Manchester United have Greenwood, Cavani, Telles, Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Van de Beek, Nemanja Matic, Dean Henderson, Tuanzebe, who are on their bench. And from those guys, Greenwood, Cavani, Pogba, Van de Beek, and Matic all probably get into our team. So as much as I can back our team, this point, we're doing ourselves a disservice being overly positive. Even myself, I know I'm doing myself a disservice. In all honesty, I can see there's issues, but at times I catch myself almost defending what's going on and trying to say it can get better than addressing it. If you want me to address it, Brendan, I'll address it. There is a lot of issues at this club, but one shining light is we have a big opportunity this window, and we have a big opportunity in the summer window where we have 10 contracts out of thing. This could be the turning point, in the sense, if we go and get a quality signing in the January window, puts us a little bit higher in the league, and in the summer we go and we double down with the 10 players gone, we double down, we get ourselves a leader, because we need leaders. We have no leaders. And it's not just me saying, oh, we actually don't have leaders. The last leader we had was Petr Cech. Koscielny was not really a leader. Monreal was not really a leader. He just led by example. You know what I mean? So to me, we need to get ourselves a leader, because I don't see any captains on that pitch besides maybe Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, and like Saka. But they're young. They can't really lead grown men. So to me, we need leadership. We need proper recruitment. And I will say the elephant in the room, Arteta, if he leaves, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not an Arteta fanboy. I back Arsenal, and the reason why I back Arsenal over other clubs is because I support them. So when people say, "Oh, Arteta out," to me, I'm Arsenal in. So I'm not going to be Arteta out. Not
Okay.
Arsene, Arsenal.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get your point 100%.
Sorry about the
Obviously,
soliloquy.
obviously, you know, you have your feelings on Arteta. Let's take Arsenal's form and this season that has been absolutely horrendous out of the equation completely, right? And let's just talk Mikel Arteta as a manager specifically. Like, even if he gets that backing, which I don't think he will personally, because I think this board is so incompetent, is unreal. You know, do you think he's the right man to take us forward? Like,
Do I think he's the right man to take us forward? I feel like Arteta is. Are you asking me if Arteta is the right man or Edu?
Arteta more than Edu. I know they sort of come as a pair really, which is it's diabolical because if you're going to put a novice in charge, which Arteta was a novice, then you need somebody in the recruitment department who knows what they're doing. But they're both new to the job, so it's like if we could say, for example, we sack Edu, we keep Arteta, but we get somebody in the recruitment department who actually knows what they're doing, you know, somebody who is proper. Do you think Arteta would be the correct man to take us forward, or have you seen too many mistakes in his managerial side? You know, like with, for example, player management and stuff like that, to say that he is good enough to take us forward.
Honestly, I feel like Arteta is a dead man walking. He needs to do a lot to turn around everybody's opinions. And I feel like he's lost a couple people at the board level too. There's been a couple people at board level that have raised concerns about Arteta and that are ready to maybe pull the trigger. But the situation is, with the investment that they've made, they forced their hand to back Arteta, in the sense that they have made a mistake in the January window and they're going to back Arteta. Me, myself, I will be backing Arteta. But if you're asking me if he's the right man to take us forward, there is no evidence. And I can't really show you any evidence that says he's the right man. The one thing I will say is, if he's addressed the actual problems in the locker room and noticed the people who need to go, like Granit Xhaka, like Bellerin, and he stops playing them, then I'll say maybe he's the right man, because he started addressing the problems. But until he does that, Brendan, I have no evidence to back my point. That's the problem.
Okay, that's fair enough. Before we move on to the next subject, I'm just going to get into a couple of these comments. We've got Joe here, who's a Chelsea fan. He says, "Hi, how are you? You know, just because we've had Christmas as Arsenal fans, it is hard to still be positive. We know, obviously, we've got you today. It's a make or break game, really. We're going to get into that in a minute." He says he can't wait for the game. I'm sure you can't, mate. I'm sure you can't.
Is it really make or break, though?
Well, it depends, really, doesn't it? Because if let's say we get 3 points or even a draw against Chelsea, you know, a team who a lot of people are talking about as possible title contenders. I'm not sure yet whether they're sort of there. It could just be the flip of a switch to make us sort of realise that, okay, we can get something off these teams, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be beating the teams below.
If we lose 5-0, does that mean he gets sacked today?
It's hard to say, because it looks like, for example, like what you were saying, it looks like the board want to keep him here. They want to give him the opportunity to have the window to do what he wants to do. But if we get smashed 5-0, then you're going to find even more fans that are going to turn from Arteta in to Arteta out. And I suppose also it doesn't even so much depend on the scoreline as such. I would say it probably more depend upon who he picks in the starting lineup, you know, because if people see Hector Bellerin starting at right back again, Granit Xhaka in the midfield, then you kind of lose hope then, because you sort of think, well, he's making the same mistakes, you know. But that's just, well, that's my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
Listen, I am. Could you repeat again? What part of it? Because there's so much that I could dissect. If you just, what exact part are you asking me? How I feel about?
Well, let's say, for example, Arteta. Let's say we get battered today by Chelsea, but Arteta picks the starting 11 that the majority of fans would want to see. You know, like your Emil Smith Rowe in the number 10. He plays a few of these kids and stops playing, you know, the
Bellerin,
players that
Xhaka.
consistently let us down. Would you then look at that and think, okay, he's learning from his mistakes. He's not playing the players that consistently let us down. And then that'll automatically give him till the window. Or, for example, like today, if we see the starting 11 and we see Bellerin and Granit Xhaka and all these players that have consistently let us down in that starting 11, then to me, I'd feel like the manager's not really learning from his mistakes. How do you feel like about that?
Arteta's extremely stubborn, and it does look like he's not learning from his mistakes, and he continues to make mistakes. But at the same time, we have to realize that maybe the job is too big for him. Maybe this is not a good time for him to be taking a job so big early in his career, and I feel like that is a big problem. But who can we trust? If we can't trust the manager, we can't trust Edu, we can't trust the board, we can't trust the owner. There's nobody really to trust. So my faith in Arteta came from the fact that what he's done in the back end of last season showed me there is a manager in there that can get something out of these players. But at this point, if the players are not playing for him, what can you really get?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm closer to the middle than I am to Arteta in all the way than I was before. Because at this point, I'm not Arteta out. I'm not saying he needs to be sacked, but at this point, it's getting closer and closer to, you can't find excuses for him. And as you just said, if he continues to play these guys, if Granit Xhaka comes back into the team or Bellerin comes back into the team, it's a sackable offense.
Okay. Afdailing Skills says, big up Brandon and Egal. Big up to you, my guy. We've got Latimus Prime in the chat as well. He says, Brandon, Chelsea aren't title contenders. Well, at least no sustained until the end of the season.
True.
That's a fair comment. Supporting Egal. How are both of you though? Yeah, we're good, Daniel.
Big up, Daniel.
Not really looking forward to the game today. What about you, Egal?
I'm looking forward to it because at the end of the day, I look forward to every Arsenal game. It doesn't matter if we're facing Man City in the League Cup, if we're facing Dundalk in the Europa League. I look forward to all these games. It's just the level of urgency and excitement that I get for a game. I'm not going to get as excited for this game as I would get excited for a game versus Tottenham derby game or even like a cup final game, but it's still a big game, and I'm excited to face Chelsea at home. Last time we played them, it was a 2-1 victory for Chelsea. We could have won that game easily if Jorginho got sent off, which he didn't. Guendouzi also could have been sent off, but then at home against Chelsea, we do have a decent record. I wouldn't say we have the worst record against them at home.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we're going to get into that in a bit. We're going to talk about Chelsea instead of Arsenal. And we're going to make our own little assessment on them. But we're going to move on now. And we're going to talk about wherever he's gone. Balogun. Now, there's a story coming out today. David Ornstein, quite a very popular journalist, let's just say, apparently has strong connections with Arsenal, and he's sort of saying that although we've been in talks with Balogun for a new contract, they're still quite wide off the mark of what Balogun's looking for, and and it's looking increasingly like he could potentially go on a free in the summer. What do you make of that?
Do you know which club they said he could go to?
No, I didn't. No.
Liverpool Football Club.
Okay.
They're saying Balogun not only could be leaving on a free, but he could be leaving domestically to Liverpool Football Club, and which would mean we would get a fee for his services and raising him up in the academy, but it's pennies and peanuts. And a lot of the links, they're getting to a point where now it's getting childish. They're saying, oh, he messaged under Curtis Jones' picture. He put an Instagram message under Curtis Jones' picture. Oh, he did this, he did that. There's various sources saying Liverpool link. They're saying Balogun is on his way out. They're saying that it has something to do with the fact that he hasn't been given enough opportunities. Yeah, in addition to, he feels like he deserves more opportunities, and he's just not getting the playing time that he wants. So to me, as long as he's not going to get any game time, and he's just barely getting put on the bench, and to me, Arteta's not a manager. I thought Arteta was going to be like Pochettino, come in and give faith to these young kids. He doesn't do that unless he has to. So I can't blame the kid. If he leaves to Liverpool and he turns into another Dominic Solanke situation where they just end up selling him again later for double the price or 3 times the price, Liverpool, no matter what, it's good business for them. And for him, going to a Liverpool team, he'll probably play in those Europa League and not Europa League, in the League Cups and the FA Cups games.
Yeah. What I want to add to that is, if it's true, obviously the playing time is a big issue, and I wouldn't blame him, to be honest with you, because Aubameyang's not been firing this season. Lacazette has not been firing this season. You've got Eddie Nketiah, who the manager seems to favour over Lacazette as well as Balogun, who's, okay, he's our top goal scorer, but, how many of them goals have not been tap-ins? How many of them goals has he actually created for himself?
Not many.
You know what I mean? And Balogun came in, okay, it was against Europa League opposition, which we can both agree was not of the level of the Premier League. But he came in, he scored 2 goals, and he created assists in 2 games. And that first game, he was only on for 30 seconds and he'd already put one in the back of the net. So it's not like the guy can do much more to try and break himself into this first team. And he should be getting the opportunities, and I just don't understand why he's not getting the opportunities. So maybe he's frustrated. Maybe he's thinking to himself, well, if I'm never going to get opportunities at Arsenal Football Club, maybe I should move elsewhere. And if the links to Liverpool are true, well, then if he's good enough for Liverpool Football Club, how is he not good enough for us? So it's like, I don't know what to make of it. It would not surprise me, because this is a typical Arsenal thing to do. We let our best young players or our best players leave on a free, and don't get any money back from. I know we'd get a small fee for him coming through our academy, but when you think of it, he can't be any worse than some of these players that we've currently got at the squad. In the squad.
Listen. If he leaves, I'm not going to cry about it. Let him leave. At this point, no player is bigger than the club. You're an academy kid. Who the hell do you think you are? Balogun, if you want to leave, leave. In my opinion, we have this next kid. We just signed him in the summer window. They're saying he could be the next Ibrahimovic. Bring him in. He's a target man also. So.
Okay. The only thing that I want to sort of add to that, to maybe contradict your argument a little bit, is, let's just say Balogun leaves. He goes on to whatever football club, and he becomes like, let's say the next Gnabry, and he proper, tears it up. And then we end up stuck in the same position that we are now, not really replacing our players, and that we're going to then look at that and think, why did we let this kid go?
At this point, if it's worse, if he doesn't want to stay, and we keep him.
Okay.
Look, if you keep a player who doesn't want to stay, and doesn't want to perform for you, it affects the performance on the pitch. We've seen that with Alexis.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're going to move on again.
Chelsea.
Keep this nice and quick. Chelsea.
Do you want to go first?
Listen, Chelsea, when they invested all that money in the summer, I thought they're 100% title contenders. And I'm not saying that they're not, but their form's been a little bit inconsistent in a way, because recently I feel like they've picked it up. I feel like, they're doing a lot better than what they were to begin with in the season. Where they was going 3-0 down to West Brom, scraping it back for a draw. It's just the inconsistency that I think might just push Chelsea out of the title race. I've been a little bit unimpressed with Werner, although his all-round game's very good. When you sign a Timo Werner, you expect him to be banging goals. But at the same time, I sort of feel like the guy's just arrived to the Premier League. He's getting used to the pace of the game. He's getting used to being in the Premier League. He is still scoring the odd goal here and there, and they've just got so much quality. I'm just jealous of them, really.
Okay, Chelsea spent a lot of money in the summer window. They brought in 7 players. They needed time to adjust. And you know what? They've adjusted quite quickly, with Mendy coming in looking like a beast, Silva coming in being automatic leader, captain. And you know what? If we were to try to sign Thiago Silva, you know how many of our fan base would be like, he's finished, he's old, he's 30, he's 35. We don't need another old man. But you know what he's done for their team, the way he's transformed their defense and made them look much better defensively is ridiculous. In addition to Reece James and Chilwell coming in and looking like Trent and Robertson almost, dare I say it, the way they're playing up and on the defensive end and the attacking end. Their midfield, we already know about Conte. We already know about how Kovacic is. Jorginho's not really playing. To me, what's impressive has been Mason Mount's form recently. He's been picked up his form, and we could use a player like Mason Mount because he's a deep lining player who can play attacking and play deep at the same time. So he's really good. We haven't had somebody like that since Santi Cazorla, right? And then I'm not comparing him to Santi Cazorla. Obviously, Santi Cazorla was a much better player, but they're in a similar ilk of a player. Now, their front three they've had a lot of injuries with Pulisic. Werner has not been firing. Havertz has not been firing. Ziyech has been injured. But you know what? If you do the combined 11, we would probably only get for pushing it 4 to 5 players into a combined 11 with them. They just have a much better squad, and their bench is much better than our bench. As you said earlier, Manchester United's bench, they have so much more depth than us. It's ridiculous. And the reason is they took their team from last year, did not replace nobody, but signed players to be starting. And everyone they had, they didn't push them out. They put them on the bench. So they have starters from last year who helped them get top 4 on the bench. We have guys last year who couldn't even get top 4 starting again. The levels are different. They would have sacked Arteta if they were in our position.
The other thing with Chelsea as well is their academy is so good. You got players like Mason Mount and Reece James, a few to mention, that have come through their academy, and they've been absolutely excellent. And any academy player that they decide that they don't really want, they tend to get money for them every single time, and it just shows how much better run Chelsea Football Club is to Arsenal Football Club. Different level altogether. I've got a comment here from Sam that says, Egal, do you see now that Lee Gunnar was right all the time with Arteta?
Listen, when it comes to the conversation we had, I was saying back your manager. He said, I don't want to back him. At least I gave the manager a chance. My guy was never giving the manager a chance. Even Brendan, you gave the manager a chance until he turned around. It's easier for you to criticize somebody, and eventually when they get sacked, be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. You're always going to be right. Even Arsene Wenger, people could have said at the beginning, who's Arsene who? And then 20 years later, finally they could say, you see, I was always right about Wenger. We could have won 5 leagues instead of 3. No matter what, it's easier for you to criticize the manager than it is to back him. And in my opinion, yes, he was right about pointing out things that have come to fruition, but at the same time, it's the manner. It was not an open dialogue. It became a shouting match, cussing. And to me, I was trying to have a football debate. He was not interested in having a football debate. He's interested in having a one-way conversation.
Okay. Just to finish up on
Can
Chelsea.
I say one thing?
Go for it.
One thing? You were talking about Chelsea's academy. I'm watching this Crystal Palace Aston Villa game. Eze, the kid who got the free kick against Leeds for Crystal Palace, he was an Arsenal academy kid. At the age of 13, we let him go. Just goes to show you, it's not only players who get to the Arsenal academy and graduate that we're letting go. We're letting go of kids from a young age, and they're going on to do great things. There's something wrong at the club. There's something rotten at the club. We need to fix it, because this Eze kid would walk into our team.
Yeah, I agree with you again, mate. I agree 100% with you again. Just before we move on, obviously, Chelsea, what do you make? Do you think they're in the title race? Do you think that they'll have enough to possibly win the title this year, or do you think it will be, top 4 for them again?
I think they can do it. I think they can win the league if they were in and about come end of January, and they sign one more piece to fit the puzzle, because right now they have had a lot of injuries on their wings and they haven't had enough goals coming from their wings. If they were to sign one more piece to the puzzle to bring everything together, it could push them over the edge, because they've lacked something. They've lacked that clinical edge this year. They just haven't been clinical. They've had a lot of opportunities. Guys have not been making their chances. Surprisingly, Tammy Abraham has been one of the most clinical guys all season. And if they were to go out and say strengthen their attack with one more piece, it could push them over the edge to win the league. And to me, I think they're in more of a title race than Tottenham, even though people are talking about Tottenham as a title contender just 2 weeks ago. It just goes to show you can quickly in this league be from in title contention to being 4th.
Yeah, I have to agree with you as well. It's a bit of a strange season this season. For example, you look at the Manchester United-Leicester game, and I was looking at the league table before, or towards the end of that game. Leicester have actually lost 6 games. They've only lost 2 games less than what Arsenal have, yet they're sitting second in the league. It's a strange season. A lot of that's down to the fact that Leicester have won more games rather than drawn games, whereas we 4 games.
They're consistent. We can't compare ourselves to Leicester, Brendan. You would, if I was comparing us to Leicester, Brendan, you wouldn't have it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
So
yeah,
why are you doing it?
But no, I'm just saying, it's a strange season. You never know what could happen. I mean, I think a lot of people expected Manchester City to be the team to win the league this year. You would have thought they would have gone out and spent a lot of money in the summer. They're having a bad season. So the next team that you look at is, of course, the league champions from last season, Liverpool. They're doing very well so far, even with the injuries that they've got.
I want Grealish, man.
Grealish, yeah. I'd love Grealish.
Because enough about Chelsea now. Chelsea's a great team, and they're gonna finish probably in the top 4, maybe 3rd, in my opinion. But I don't think they're gonna win the league. They could do it, but just to wrap it up, Chelsea's a great team, but I don't think they're not gonna have enough to win the league this year. Liverpool just look like head and above everybody else. It's Liverpool and then everybody else. Even Man City, they're in a top 4 race. They're not even in a title contention this year. Man United, surprisingly, and Leicester look like the biggest challengers right now for Liverpool. That's a surprising thing. And then what happened to you, bro? We switched spots for a second because you were the one going super positive, and I'm the one trying to bring you down to earth. Roles are reversed today.
You got to try and be a little bit positive, mate. All this negativity is just it's making me feel depressed.
I seen something that's super positive, and it's gonna make you happy. Today, I heard that this summer is going to be the summer that changes everything for Arsenal. That's what they're. I know it's propaganda. I know it's buzzwords. I know it's things that they want to put out there for people to get excited about. But Josh Kroenke did say be excited one time, and we got Pepe. So when these guys say be excited, I'm thinking they have something big up their sleeve this January and this summer.
Okay.
I'm hearing, bro, from numerous sources, we are trying to bring in 6 to 7 players this summer of quality. And there is a 10% chance it could be a Grealish. There's a 50% chance it could be a Buendia, and then there's like a 30% chance it could be like a guy like Houssem Marwa. But we are going to bring in a quality midfielder. We're going to bring in another quality midfielder, and we're going to go out there and get a defender. Today I heard we got linked to Rudiger from Chelsea.
Okay.
We got linked to Tomori from Chelsea. We got linked to also even Callum Hudson-Odoi. So talking about Chelsea, we're linked to 3 Chelsea players right there.
We like Chelsea players, don't we?
Yeah, but those are the good. Those are on the good side of the age. It's not like they're 32. It's not like we're getting a Czech or William Gallas or David Luiz. It's more like we're getting this. It's if we get Callum Hudson-Odoi, it could turn into a similar situation with what happened with. I don't want to say it. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Ashley Cole. If we get Callum Hudson-Odoi from Chelsea, and he turns into one of the best wingers in the league, and they gave us basically their best. They gave us one of their best wingers, not their best, but like their 4th best winger right now, and he turns into like a next Mo Salah type situation. I could see that happening, but I don't know if Chelsea's the kind of club that would ever sell to a direct rival. They're not like us.
No, I can't see it myself. I mean, and if that did happen and Hudson-Odoi did turn out to be a quality player, it'd be about time because they've given us so many crap players over the years. It'd be nice to have a decent one, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, we've got another comment here from Matty. He's just taking the mic there. Take your time with it. That video though, that video that Terry made of you is quality, mate. It had me in stitches. It really did. You honestly looked like you was losing your mind, and I could feel that as well because it's like I feel your pain, mate. I really do. I feel your pain, and I suppose every Arsenal fan out there does as well.
Brennan, you've been on enough streams with me to know that I'm not absolutely deluded. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to football. It's just sometimes I catch myself in a catch-22 where I have to back a point that because everyone else is just going so far one way that I don't hear any fair and balanced arguments. It's like if Manchester United lose tomorrow and Arsenal lose tomorrow, Arsenal is going to be considered shit. Manchester United is going to be like, oh, it's just a loss. It happens.
Yeah.
Same thing with Chelsea. If Chelsea lose today, no one's going to make fun of them. There's somehow, if we win today, somehow they're going to find a way to still make fun of us. So that's where I come into play, and I'm trying to balance the criticism because it's ridiculous. We were the best defense in the league. We were flying at the beginning of the season, and people are telling us you're still shit.
Yeah.
I guess they're right, but in the grand scheme of things, that's disingenuous, and that's just what I don't like.
We've got. If you just take a look at the private chat, mate, I've just sent you a message.
Yeah.
We've got another guy who wants to come on.
1 second, I'm gonna turn my charger on.
Right, no worries. But yeah, I don't know.
What?
Boxing Day fixtures. Obviously, Manchester United, Leicester. I think that ended in a draw, didn't it?
Manchester United, Leicester, yeah, ended in a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, and then obviously us tonight or this evening, depending on where you are. Of course, I'm in the UK, so this evening against Chelsea.
I'm in the UK too. A lot of people don't realize that.
You are in? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that either.
Yeah, it's like you think just because of my accent, I'm not in the UK, but I am. A lot of people think, oh, he's in Canada. Okay, I
Oh,
did that. I did what you said. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It's just a busy day today. It's gonna be crazy. I already did this is the second stream today. Arsenal Chelsea, when we win or lose, I'm gonna still do a reaction on Football Terrace, and then after that, I'm gonna be doing one on my channel, EGTV. If you guys haven't already checked that out, and then I'm gonna be on Kai's channel. And yeah, I put the link to the channel on my channel so people can find it in the comment section, in the community page on my group. But hey, before we move on, can I say one thing? I don't know if you wanted to, but how are you gonna play? Are you gonna play a back three, back four? What do you think?
I had African Guna on here on my channel the other day, and I asked him the same question, and he raised a very good point. We tend to get overrun quite a lot in the midfield. So for me, I'd play a back four, just so we've got that extra midfielder in the centre of the park. Because you play with a back three, it kind of turns into a back seven at times, and then we find that we struggle to go forward and hit on the counter attack, which is what we're set up to do, really and truly, because we don't have the extra midfielder in the middle. So I'd set up with a back four. I don't know how you feel about it.
I would set up with a back four simply because if we're not scoring enough goals, we need as many men forward as possible.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
feel like if we play with a back three, unless we're pushing both wing backs up, we won't have enough men in the attacking third to make a difference.
So what would be your starting 11 today?
I've sent the thing, by the way. My starting 11 for today would be Leno, Bellerin. No, why did I say Bellerin? I'm sorry. Leno, Cedric, right? Gabriel, Leno, Cedric, Gabriel, David Luiz. Is David Luiz healthy?
I think he's fit. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go David Luiz. You know what? Forget that. I'll go Pablo Mari and Gabriel with Cedric and Tierney. Midfield of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, El Neni, and Emil Smith Rowe. Attack of Aubameyang, Saka, and Martinelli.
Well, I think this might be the first time that we've fully agreed on a starting 11, but I agree 100% with your starting 11. That's exactly the same starting 11 that I would go with as well.
I just feel like it's insanity to do the same things over and over again, so might as well make some changes. I'm treating the lineup predictions like Football Manager. Every time we lose, we got to make a change.
Definitely. Prime, if you are watching, Egal has sent you the link to the show if you want to jump on and come and talk about your team, of course, because we are playing Chelsea today. We're going to move on anyway, and we're going to talk about, can Arsenal win today?
This is how it happens. If we win, it's going to be based on either a set piece goal from a free kick or a penalty or even a corner, right? And then we hold back, sit down, and just hold on to the 1-0. If we score from open play, the only way that can happen is if one of our youngsters go on a mad run and they put in the work and they do everything. How you doing, Prime?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you look like you're in this. Why are you holding your mouth? Like you're shocked to see if Arsenal could win.
No, I'm actually reading something.
So, that's what I thought.
I tend to hold my mouth a lot. I don't know why, but yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. Just listening
Brendan.
to your stuff and like the show and whatever. And I
Yeah,
listen to one of the as well. So
I see a couple of your comments in the comment section, Prime. What do you make of what we were saying? Do you feel like Chelsea are in a title race?
mathematically, yes. Realistically, as in, like, are we going to be in with the running when it comes to like March, April, May? No, we'll fall away. Yeah, Chelsea will fall away by like March, April. So no, we won't be in that vital running near the end. No, but as it stands right now, mathematically, yes, we are in a title race.
There's some things that Prime says that I agree with. That is one thing I definitely agree with. But one thing that I wanted to ask Brendan, Prime said to me the other day, he doesn't feel like Arsenal can attract the top talent. Do you feel like that? Or is that what you said, Prime? Because I don't want to misconstrue your words.
Attract the top. Yeah, yes and no. Look, Arsenal, Europe historically, your history speaks for itself. So yes, you have that going for you. But in terms of everything else, like what you've been doing lately over the past 5 years or whatever, that's not necessarily attractive. You're not in Champions League. Depending on how you finish the season, or if you win the Europa League, you won't be in Europa League for next season. There are other teams, other clubs, Chelsea, City, United, maybe Spurs. You've got Everton to have Ancelotti. Wolves have a brilliant project going on. Leicester have a brilliant project going on. You have other teams that are more attractive, or just as attractive, or maybe a little less bigger than Arsenal that you could also go to. There's also the money situation, which, yeah, this myth that Arsenal don't have money. Yeah, you do have money, but you also don't necessarily seem to spend it wisely, or you will overpay or overspend on your players because, again, you're not in the Champions League or fighting for the title or in top four. The players that you'll need or you want to get, you have to overpay for them. It's just kind of the same thing with Man United in a way, that because they're Man United and they're this big brand, big club, whatever, that any player that they want, automatically, they're going to have to pay a premium for. Maguire, 85 mil, for example. Maguire is a good centre back, but the reason why he's 85 mil is because it's Man United. If it was, I know he went from Leicester, but if it was like, say, Wolves that went in for him, Maguire would probably cost 40 mil, maybe max. So yeah,
I kind of have to agree with Prime there. Like, I look at our current situation and I just feel like, yes, we're a big club, but you look at Dominic Szoboszlai, for example. A lot of people say that he went to RB Leipzig because then they can sell him on for more money and make more money off of him, and that's how they run their sort of clubs, and that's fair enough. But if a big club like Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, come in for you, then surely, even with that, you have to be sort of questioning it. And I think the only reason why we didn't get him is because he doesn't want to come to Arsenal. The problem that we have at the moment is if we're trying to go for a top player, they're looking at us and they're thinking, the situation that Arsenal are in, I could potentially go there and ruin my career. That is how bad it is. And what can we really offer these top players? Like Prime said, we're not in the Champions League. Next season, we probably won't be in the Europa League either. So the only thing that we can really offer these players is top wages, which has got us kind of where we are now because we brought in average players and overpaid them, and now we struggle to get rid of them.
Can I say one thing before you go, Prime?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go.
I feel like where we need to address our recruitment is not the level of quality of player, the mentality of the player that we bring in. Because if you bring in a player with the mentality that they want to win at all costs and they want to improve themselves, you need a player who's going to be in. When you go to sign a player, ask them how much time do they spend in the training ground after practice? How much time do they spend coming to the manager to see how they can improve? How much time we don't do our due diligence? Because if we did our due diligence, we wouldn't have signed a Pepe for 72 million that doesn't train well at Lyon, who Lyon themselves were surprised that we offered them 30 million over their valuation for him. If we went to a team like Wolves, you could see that Jota was a beast. Even though no one predicted that he was this type of player, with his work ethic, you can see he's that kind of player. Even Chelsea, you guys signed Ziyech. His work ethic is infectious to the training ground. Everyone talks about his work ethic. Why can't we sign players that have the work ethic off the pitch as much as the stats on the pitch? Because if you do that, you get Alexis Sanchez's. You don't need to spend 70 million. You buy a Buendia tomorrow. He is, in my opinion, work ethic, he's better than Isco. Not eyesight, not based on level of team that he plays for. Obviously, people are going to say I'm crazy for saying Buendia is better than Isco. But if you look at work ethic and where he's been at to where he needs to go, you have a higher ceiling with that player than you do with Isco.
Yeah, I massively agree with you. But it's like, and maybe the Ziyech isn't the example. For Chelsea, I would use someone like Ben Chilwell. And it's again because, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, well, maybe not so much Liverpool, but Chelsea, United, Arsenal, because we're these big clubs and the way our fan bases are, if we have a signing like Ben Chilwell, who for Chelsea, no one, the fans didn't rate or want, they wanted a Regulon, who actually, funny enough, he's played Premier League this season, or they wanted a Tagliafico or Tellez, who isn't that good really, or whatever, because they play on the continent and they've got to be better than the overrated Englishman Chilwell. Chilwell's come in and been one of the standout left backs in the Premier League this season, without a doubt. Chelsea want Declan Rice. Fine, people can say he's not this flashy, sexy signing, but it works because of the ethic, the training, the presence and personality, the leadership that comes into the changing room. Arsenal fans, if you guys do that, and that is a great thing going along that model, but there's always going to be those fans who are going to be like, why are we getting him? Like, if you guys were to sign someone like a
Thiago Silva,
Jordan, not even Thiago Silva, because he is rated and regarded, but someone like a
Willy Bolly.
Okay, Bolly, because he's not this flashy signing of a centre back, people are going to say, why are we signing Bolly from Wolves? People aren't going to see it or understand that the personality or presence he would, he would bring to the changing room and stuff like that. Or people aren't going to see things going along. But again, that is down to your board and your club actually waking up to what's happening. And again, I don't know what that's going to take. I assumed Spurs get into a Champions League final and potentially winning it. That's what would have woke up your club or your board. It didn't. Maybe this season, you guys should, all banter aside, right? You guys shouldn't get relegated. You guys actually should stay up because you do have that quality. Whether or not you spend in January, you guys still have that quality. No way you guys should get relegated. But you guys say almost getting relegated this season and Spurs almost winning the league. I don't know. Does that wake up your club to what's happening?
Yeah.
With Arteta, what he's doing. For me, I say he is drastically underperforming because even though I didn't put you guys in top 6, I put you guys in 7th because you have roughly the 7th best squad in the league. And I know games aren't played on paper, but you guys shouldn't be where you are. But if you're going to keep the faith and trust in Arteta, cool. That, to be fair, is not really a problem. But then the board has to adequately back him. And maybe they are backing him with the players because he's brought in like 11 players or whatever so far since he came in. But it's not in the right way. It's not really the right signings. Or at least they're not getting rid of the bad eggs that are already in the squad.
Yeah, that's the bigger problem.
Because again, people are like, "Oh, why does he always pick like a Bellerin or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can say that, but these guys are a presence and a personality in the changing room. So it's a thing where he kind of has to play them because if you don't, they can disrupt things and make it even worse than what's already going on. Also, the fact of he is even though he's won an FA Cup, he's still a young, inexperienced manager. Realistically, he doesn't have that respect as a manager as of yet. At least with Frank, because he's a club legend at Chelsea, he's already got that respect and backing from the board where the players are, if you don't play for him, cool, we're going to sell you. We did the same thing with David Luiz last season. Frank said you're going to be 4th choice. David Luiz didn't want that. Fine, cool. You can go to Arsenal. We don't care. At United, Ollie's a club legend. Whether or not you guys rate him or he's a PE teacher, he is a club legend. Lukaku didn't like that he was on the bench. Cool. You can go to Roma. You can go to Inter Milan, score 30 goals a season. We don't care. If you're not playing for me and suiting what I want to do, you can leave. Arteta, unfortunately, doesn't have that same respect. So either your club does a massive or your board does a massive overhaul in the summer, or you get a better manager that the players will at least respect and play for, while you guys slowly revamp or reboot or change up your squad and your ethos.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, but Prime, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I agree with you on a lot of your points there, and I get where you're coming from. I just don't think that the board have any backbone to do any and make any changes. But I'm gonna head out. I gotta go pray.
Just before you head out again, I just want to get your score prediction for today.
After all of that, after all the bigging up of Chelsea and the bashing of Arsenal, I still hope we can get a draw out of this game. I think it's going to be a 1-1. It's going to be a close game, and it's not going to be the 7-5s, 4s that everyone's saying. I think that's a little bit more banter when people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's very true.
Anyways, hold it down, guys.
Bless.
Cheers for coming on, bro. Yeah, just to sort of reiterate your point a little bit there, Prime. The thing that disappoints me about Arsenal is that it's clear that we need a massive rebuild. And I don't understand why they don't look at the Liverpool model. And when I say look at the Liverpool model, I mean Liverpool, when they was rebuilding that squad under Klopp, they predominantly brought players from the Premier League because they're players that are already suited to the league. You already know that what you're going to get with them. Like your Mane's, like your Van Dijk's, like your Jordan Henderson, even though he was already there, he come from Sunderland. Mo Salah came from Roma, but he did have a spell at Chelsea, so he already knew what the league was about. And I just look at that and I think these players, they've already had Premier League experience. Yes, they're going to cost a lot of money, but why don't we look at doing something like that, buying players from the English league rather than going over to, you say, the French league and spending £72 million on Pepe, when really and truly we probably would have got more out of Wilfried Zaha for £80 million, Hello? Is he gone? I think he's gone. I'm going to get into a couple of comments. Hopefully Prime will be back in a minute. Daniel, Chelsea fan. I think we can, but I'm with everyone. Everyone is different. I think second is a good season. Obviously, Chelsea have got their own situation that they're in. I kind of feel like Chelsea have to be challenging for the league because it's like, let's say Chelsea start dropping off, I don't know, 10, 12 games before the end of the season, and Chelsea only managed to finish third and they end up being, say, 15, 16 points behind the leaders. Would that be a good enough season for Frank Lampard with the backing that he's had? You'd probably have to question it a little bit because Roman Abramovich is not the type of person who's going to keep a manager about. He will, if you're not getting enough or he doesn't feel like you're getting enough out of the investment that he's put in, he will sack you and move you on. So who knows? Lampard's under a lot of pressure, I think. 2 wins in 17 games, Egal for Arsenal in the league. Is that a good record? No, it is horrendous, mate. Like you just said, 2 wins in 17 games. Terrible. Absolutely horrendous. I've read Sam's comment. Daniel says FA Cup has kept Arteta in the job. It has. And for a lot of fans, they look at it and they see Arteta won the FA Cup. He, so he deserves more time. But they don't look at the fact that he's making mistake after mistake after mistake with his managerial side of things. And I don't know. I don't feel like he's the right man for the job, even if the board back him, which I don't think they will. Air Max King says, we are so terrible right now, it's beyond belief. Prime is back. Matty says, you need to sell Xhaka and replace Ozil. We all know that.
I don't think you need to sell Xhaka. I think he's
You
the
don't
only.
think you need to sell Shaq?
I think he's one of the only leaders and fighters that you have in your squad. And if you build a team, if you have the right team around him, you can get the best out of him. Look at Henderson at Liverpool, the prime example. Look again, McTominay at United. He's thriving now because there's a good system around him. I think that's really what you need with Xhaka. If you sell him, he'll go to another club and you see how good he really is.
But I also feel like Henderson and even McTominay is a better footballer than Granit Xhaka.
What
You know, footballing ability.
No, no. Technically, none of them are better than Xhaka.
Okay. I'm kind of shocked by that comment there,
No,
Brian, because
I rate them. I do. I just think again, you have a lot of players at Arsenal that look worse than they are because of the whole thing that's going on with you guys. Like someone like Elneny, I think he'd do well at Liverpool because of the way Klopp is, the way he likes to press and everything, his hard work in midfield, and how he gets the best out of the players that he has. Bellerin, he's actually not that bad. He like a few years ago when Chelsea were playing with wing backs under Conte, I would have taken him at Chelsea. Barcelona still want him, which shows he must still be good. No, well, PSG wanted him last summer as well, which shows he must be good. Who else? Holding and Chambers were good centre backs a few years ago, so I don't know what happened with them. Maybe it's injuries. Tierney is I still rate him. He's highly as a left back. I actually think he's better than Robertson, to be fair, even though he's had a few bad performances with Arsenal. Leno's a decent goalkeeper. So Bias is overrated, but Pepe, I think if you put him in the right system, you can get the best out of him. Lacazette, again, if you play him in the right way, you can get the best out of him. We know what Aubameyang's like, but you're not getting the best out of him now, which is weird. I think you do have good players there, or average players, whatever, that you can get the best out of under certain circumstances. But you're not doing. Arteta isn't doing that right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you in some aspect. I kind of feel like Bernd Leno, yeah, he's a good shot stopper, but his distribution is shocking. It's terrible. He needs to improve that side of his game. But aside from that, I would keep him at Arsenal. Bellerin, I have to disagree with you, mate. You know, the guy can't even throw a ball properly. His crossing has been horrendous ever since he broke into the Arsenal team. The only thing that really sort of put him above everybody else was his pace, which he seems to have lost a little bit now that he's had that Achilles injury. His defending and his positioning, he just hasn't got a footballing brain. You know, maybe maybe in a top side like a Liverpool or that, he probably would look a lot better because the other players around him would help him out a lot more. Whereas at the moment he's in a failing team. But as regards to being a top right back, I don't think he's nowhere near. David Luiz.
Yeah, we keep saying top players. Who would have thought Robertson would be one of the best left backs in the world when he got relegated at Hull? But I know Wijnaldum got relegated with Fulham or West Ham, not West Ham, Newcastle. But Wijnaldum, we knew he was a quality player anyway. Salah, he flopped at Chelsea. He would have thought he'd come back the way he did. You know, there's quality in and around this league that we don't always go abroad. But because it's Arsenal, we know you have money and everything. Like, you guys are going to get extorted for prices. And also the fact that your board don't know how to deal with things properly. Because again, you spent 72 on Pepe when you could have got him for, what was it, 50 or 60?
What, Pepe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have got him for around that price, but again,
even that price, even the 50, 60 mark, you could have bought Zaha, who is better than Pepe.
Yeah, it's all a massive mess, mate, to be honest with you. But like, if I was rebuilding this squad, I could tell you right now, if I was rebuilding this squad, it wouldn't actually take it. It wouldn't actually cost us that much money. First things first, right back position. Straight away, Bellerin has to go for me. I mean, I know what you're saying about how you sort of rate him a little bit, but no, he's not good enough for me. I'd go get Max Aarons from Norwich. He's levels above Bellerin. Centre back pairing, I think we've already got it at Arsenal, but the manager doesn't want to play Saliba for some reason. I would play Saliba alongside Gabriel. Then, of course, Tierney, who I personally think has been one of our best signings in recent years. He's had a few poor performances, but like you said, I do think he will develop into a top left back. Central midfield, you've got obviously Thomas Partey. Personally, I think we missed the trick, really. We should have gone and got Doucouré from Watford. Obviously, he's gone to Everton now, but he would have been the perfect partner next to Thomas Partey for me. Then you could have gone and got a Dominic Szoboszlai. We was never going to pay any more than 35 million pound for him. That was his price. He's of a good quality. Yes, he's from a foreign league, but he's still young. He could still learn. He's got potential. He could be in the number 10 role. Then you got Martinelli, who I'd play in. Saka, who you'd play on the left. I'd play Aubameyang up front for now, and then possibly Martinelli on the right. But then I'd be looking to build a team around Martinelli eventually, and teach him the striking role. So really and truly, you look at it like that. You think, right, you go and buy Max Aarons. What you're looking at, £25 million. Doucouré, even from Everton, probably £45 million. Szoboszlai would have been £30 million. You know, it's not a massive amount of money, really. And, you know, I don't see why we don't do something like that. It frustrates me. It's a massive game today. Massive game today for Arsenal, more than it is for Chelsea. But then again, I suppose for Chelsea, you know, if you lose today, there's the embarrassment of losing to a 15th place Arsenal who haven't won a game since November.
Yeah, there is massive embarrassment. This game could go one of two ways. You guys could either sit back and defend for your lives, and then we'll only beat you like 1-0 or 2-1 or something. Or because you are playing at home, you guys should come out and set the tone because you are playing at home. And I think for Chelsea, for Frank, what would be smart thing to do tactically is do what Jose did, sit back a bit, invite Arsenal onto you, and then hit them quickly within the first 15-20 minutes and go like 1 or 2 goals up and then kill the game on from there. Because if we do that, we go 2-0 up quickly, we know your heads will drop. You'll start making mistakes because you need to get more goals. And that'll just make it easier. Gabriel being your best centre-back, you guys keep saying. And yeah, he'd be making mistakes in the last few games. Let's target him. Bellerin, he's probably going to be playing. Target him. Rob Holding, target him. Leno, not the best. Target him. You have Xhaka in midfield. Target him. Target everyone. Go for everyone. And we know you guys have a discipline record as well this season. Let's do that. Do everything that we can.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I agree to a certain extent. Hopefully you don't play like how Jose played, because like you said, if you invite us onto you, I can just see our midfield is horrendous. Forget about our defence. It's our midfield. We get overrun in midfield week in, week out. Chelsea are very strong in the midfield area, and I really worry about the midfield, especially today. Doesn't matter what combination you put in there, it's not better than what Chelsea have got. I'd like to think that we could get a draw in this game, but if I'm looking at it realistically, I can't see anything else other than a Chelsea win.
You can. You guys could. The thing is,
and just to add to the thing as well, Prime, you said we're playing at home. Our home record this season has actually been worse than our away record. So
Oh, no,
that's
yeah, no, I know that, but I'm just thinking in terms of, look at what you guys did with you played Spurs at home, was it Emirates?
yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, you played Spurs at the Emirates, and you still came out and you attacked them, even though it would have made sense to sit back. With the players that we have, I don't know if Ziyech will be fully fit for the game or not, but with the players that we have, it's more suited to play counter attack in this game, which is what I would go with. I would sit and invite you guys onto us and hit you guys on the counter.
Timo Werner as well. A lot of people have been getting on him a little bit because he hasn't been really consistently scoring goals, which is what you brought him for. Can you see him scoring today? Arsenal love to gift goals to players who are not scoring.
Yeah, he could. I mean, again, people saying Timo not scoring goals and whatever, it's because he's missing a few. He's missing a few embarrassing sitters. But again, it's his first season in the Prem. He already has a good goal to assist ratio +5 this season. So how that goes. But
What do you
yeah,
make of what do you make of Frank Lampard playing him out on the left-hand side predominantly? Because I thought when you brought him, I thought he'd be your main man, your main striker. But it doesn't seem to be that.
it's because we have injuries to our wingers and stuff, and Werner plays well when he plays. He also works well with a target man, so like a Giroud or Tammy from the bounce off. But at times it's not working. Sometimes because he's playing off that left as a forward essentially. At times he does have to go out wide and do a bit of the defensive work and stuff like that. And yeah, again, it's just about getting things all to click and everything. And once a few players start coming back to fitness, we'll see where we're going. But again, even with all of that, people keep saying Werner still has one of the best goals to assist ratio this season. We're still up and amongst it in the title race or whatever it may be. So it's like, for me personally, we're performing exactly how I expect us to be performing. We're not underperforming in any way. People are saying, "Oh, with a better manager, we could be challenging for the league or winning the league or whatever." Yeah, cool, a world class manager, but Frank isn't one. So again, I'm not expecting that from him this season. So
okay. And just before we wrap this up, I just want to get your score prediction.
I want to say 8-0, but that's a joke. I don't mean that. No one tip that up. I don't mean that. That's a joke. Just let me preface that. But yeah, okay. 2-1 Chelsea, 3-1, 2-1 or 3-1.
2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah.
Oh, what do I say here? Because every time I try and back Arsenal, try and say, right, we're going to win this game. Even Burnley, I said, yeah, we're not scoring goals. It's going to be
that Burnley game on the terrace. We did a preview for that a bit, and everyone was saying Arsenal will win. I was the only one who said Arsenal won't win, and they're like, "But Prime, you're only going against it because that's what you do." And I said, "No, I broke it down realistically. Arsenal, I think you played at home in that game, but I was like, because it's Arsenal, you guys have to go out and attack them. Burnley are going to sit back, going to hit you on the counter attack with Jay Rodriguez and Barnes and people like that. They're not the best in the air. They know how to fight. They'll win every single ball. There's no way you're going to be able to handle them." And I was proven right at the end of the day. So
exactly. Even I was thinking, God, if we can't beat Burnley, surely, come on, we've got to beat Burnley, surely.
Have you guys played Sheffield United this season?
We've played them. I don't know actually. Have we played Sheffield United?
I'm just curious because they are the worst team in the league. So if they beat you,
I think we have played them, and I think we beat them 2-1. Don't count me on that though.
Oh yeah, actually that might have been at the start of the season. Yeah, I think I remember that. Okay.
But yeah. Even scraping a 2-1 against Sheffield United, I know. It's just I'm hoping that we can get a draw in this game.
Well, look, oh, Fulham have to win by a big scoreline. But then again, Chelsea can beat you by if Chelsea beat you by a big scoreline and Fulham win by a big scoreline, they'll go above you on goal difference.
I know. And then you've got Burnley, who are literally a point behind us. They've got a game in hand.
Brighton could also go. You guys could be 18th.
Yeah, we could be in the relegation zone by the end of today, and if not, by the end of next week. But hey ho, you still got some fans out there telling me trust the process. But there you go. Anyway, a couple of comments here. Strip there says it'll be 3-1 to Chelsea. Winter Surfer says 4-0. Matty says 8-0. Matty agrees with you on your 8-0. And Daniel is very confident here. He says 6-0 Chelsea, do not care. I think if I'm looking at it realistically, I can't see anything other than a Chelsea win. I'm gonna pretty much say exactly what you said, mate. I think it'll be probably a 3-1 Chelsea. But I hope and pray that we could at least get a draw out of this game. I look at the records as well, you know, from the managers. They've faced each other 3 times. Frank Lampard's won 1 game. Arteta won 1 in the FA Cup, and then the other one's been a draw. And we was down to 10 men with quite a lot of that game as well. So I don't know. I think it will be closer than what most people think, but I do think that Chelsea will win the game. Thank you for coming on, Prime. I appreciate it, mate. Would love to have you on again, 100%. Hopefully I can come back after the game with my match review and be smiling for once in my life, or maybe I'll be tearing my hair out even more, which is why I'm wearing my hat today, because my hairline is going backwards like Arsenal year in, year out. Anyway, thank you for tuning in.
I'd love to come on for a review of this game.
Yeah.
Are you doing a watch along for the game?
I won't be doing a watch along, no. I'll probably sit there and watch it in the corner on my own, and be crying halfway through it.
Stephen, you know Stephen Peatley?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he does watch along and stuff. So if you want to go on that,
okay. Yeah, I'd love to get on that. I'll have to have a word and have a chat with him. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. If you have not already, please go and hit that subscribe button. Come on, Arsenal, please don't let me down. I know you probably will. But I'll see you for a match review after the game. Cheers, guys.